Hey, what's up everybody? We're gonna go over the upcoming Champions Meet. It's still a ways off from the point of me making this video. Today's the 5th, it doesn't come out to the 17th, so we still got almost 2 weeks until it hits, so we still have lots of time to prepare. Personally, I have not made a single character for the Champions Meet yet, because I'm waiting for the Super Creek banner so I can pull more support cards, because my deck is terrible. But yeah, you can see on the screen it's a 2400 meter left. It's going to be in spring, sunny, on firm ground. All that stuff's set, so you know exactly what kind of run it is, and we know the terrain as well. We'll talk about that later, but you can see exactly what it is, so you know which green skills to try to grab if you can get them, because they're, you know, guaranteed to go off. The structure of Champions Meet is there's two different, I guess, tiers of leagues that you can join. You can join Open League or Graded League. Graded League is like the main league, essentially. It's for anyone who is making greater than B Umas currently. So if you're making like A rank Umas and stuff like that, you can't play in Open League, so you're forced to play in Graded League. You could potentially like try to make lower grade Umas to play in Open, but Graded has better rewards, so it's almost certainly better just to play in Graded. You see on the screen the way the round system works. I'm not going to go over this too much. It's really just, you just try to win as much as you can. Running a race and losing has no effect, so you just run all your races every day, and then, you know, however many wins you have decides where you go for the next round. There's going to be 3 big like parent Umas, or even Umas that you can run in this race. Because of the way the track is designed, the last phase starts on a corner. So Taiki Shuttle, Marzensky, and Majiro Ryan's uniques will all proc at the start of the last phase, which is huge. Acceleration skills are like the king of everything in terms of winning races. If you can guarantee an acceleration at the start of last phase, that runner will always win against someone who does not get that acceleration. You can see on this screen the inherited values of their uniques. If you were to actually run one of the racers, the duration would be 4 seconds, and the acceleration would be 0.4. So the acceleration's double, and the duration is, you know, 1.6 seconds longer. And that's at, you know, level 1. If it's higher level, it gets better stats. I don't know off the top of my head how much more, but it gets stronger as they level up. But only for if the character themselves is running, you don't inherit a leveled up unique. I've run quite a few room matches to simulate like Champions Meet right now. And like I said earlier, I have not made any Champions Meet characters yet. I can tell you, I have also not won a single room match against people who have already made their Champions Meet characters. I think I've done like 15 or 20 room matches, and I have won literally 0. So, yeah, it's real bad if you don't have Champions Meet characters against people who are actually prepping. With that being said, I do feel like, even though like I'm losing every single room match I do, these are against people who are like super prepping for this stuff. Because this is a mobile game, I feel like intrinsically there's just gonna be a lot of casual players who are just gonna be like, oh, Champions Meet, what's this? And they're just gonna sign up, and, you know, however they do is however they do, and they're not really gonna worry about it too much. Obviously they're going to want to have won, but they're just gonna go into it without prepping and stuff like that. So yeah, it really just depends on how this first Champions Meet shakes out in terms of like how prepared the general population is. All right, so now that we know the basics of the race, let's talk about the stat requirements. So the name of the game will always be making sure you have enough stamina to win the race, and then cap speed, and then power, and then wit is just like 400-ish, just so your skill activation percentage isn't terrible, because you actually need your skills to proc in this race or you will die. You need recovery skills. So the race is a 2400, like we said. I mean, you can look on the emulator, just like to see the layout of the race and stuff like that. This is pretty good for figuring out whether the final leg is on like a corner and stuff like that. A very useful tool. So it's a 2400 race. We have 700 at 700 stamina with 2 golds. You can see over here, if both skills proc, which is a 60% chance, we definitely survive the race. If only one procs, we go slightly under. So at that little amount, you probably should just slow down maybe in the last second or something of the race. It's not under by a lot, but I mean, you still don't want to be under at all. So ideally you might want to increase your stamina a little bit. This is assuming there's no nice natures on the field, and depending on how, I don't know, I guess how much research everybody's doing who plays the game, depending on that will depend on how many nice natures you're gonna go up against. And that's like the big question for how you build your Umas for this. If you go against one nice nature, it's not too bad. So I'm just gonna put so in this unique heal for my sheet, I can just put a number in here. I'm gonna put it -7, because this is 2 gold skills or -3 each. So I can even just do this, right? So we have a -3 plus a -3 plus, and then we have one -1, because most likely they'll be running, I don't remember if it's subdued or flustered, but one of these two, right? And then you can put that on like front and pace. So if you're running front or pace, you're gonna eat this 1%, and then maybe the other -3s from the rare skills as well, right? So that gets us to -7. And now you can see on the recovery sheet, everything's negative. Even at 2 gold procs, you do not survive this. So we need enough stamina to survive. I mean, like 2, I guess. I'm just gonna increase it by 100 because that should get us there. So now we're at 15. One thing to note is that this sheet currently doesn't calculate rush, and it also doesn't calculate like uphills, and it doesn't calculate conserving stamina on downhills. It doesn't calculate position keep either, because there's no other runners. It's only just your runner. Position keep, assuming there's 2 front runners, will likely just make everyone burn HP faster, because the 2 front runners will make the race faster than it would normally be, because they will keep pushing each other along and make everyone behind them have to keep up with them. So you'll likely burn more HP than what's here. There is a hill. So on this hill, your Uma, assuming it passes the wit check, will burn less HP on the down. It'll also run faster. Assuming you like run fast enough, maybe you'll get a pace down or something, and that'll lower your HP consumption more. Who knows? But the point is, calculating a 15 remaining HP is not good. There's too many variables that could push you under on your HP here. We scaled up to 900. Now we're at 94, which is, it's better. 94 is enough to survive like 2 seconds at late phase. So per second, this is what you're draining HP. So it's 47. So this is almost exactly 2 seconds. But this is also only a 60% probability of proccing both gold skills, right? If you only proc one, you're in the negative again. And this is, again, only one nice nature. 2 3s and a 1. So what if you have 2 nice natures and then all their skills go off? So -14, right? So now where does it put this? We're at -121. And it's like really hard to get enough stamina to actually survive 2 nice natures. So the question is, do you want to build around this? the possibility of getting more than one nice nature. This is like the big reason why I think you should definitely run a nice nature, because I think a lot of people are going to be under stamina'd for this race. And if you happen to go against another person who's running a nice nature, then that third person is likely, any character they have that is not a end closer is likely just going to die, because they're not going to have the stamina for it. But yeah, even at 1100 stamina, like 26 HP. And if I increase terrain and race distance aptitudes, then the HP gets worse, because this makes you go faster, run faster, and this makes you accelerate faster. So you end up spending more HP to move the same distance. You just do it in a faster time. And this is for front runner as well. If you're a pace chaser, it's even worse. So yeah, it's a very rough race HP wise running against nice natures. If it's only one, it's not as bad. You can, you know, get away with 900 and you'll be pretty close, as long as you're okay with having to have both your skills proc. And at 400 wit, it's a little bit better than a coin flip. It's not much better. And then we can simulate this just to be like, well, maybe my sheet's just bad, right? Maybe my sheet's just not any good. Maybe I did bad math somewhere. So this is one nice nature, right? So I do 2 mystifying murmurs, because what she actually runs is mystifying murmur and all-seeing eyes. But in this simulator, this can't proc, because your order rate needs to be greater than 50. And there's only 2 Umas, so your order rate can never be greater than 50. So that'll never go off. So you just put 2 mystifying murmurs in and it's fine. And then we run our other Uma at 900 stamina with 2 heals. Everything's A. And this calculator will always assume all your skills proc. So this ends up being 145. But this model also always includes max mood. So I get a little closer. Our numbers are still not exactly matching. But we also calculate HP drain differently. I believe this model calculates it every tick, whereas mine does every second. Because the little reverse engineered code we have says it's drained every second, so I just did it every second. But they're pretty close either way. So, but this is for, again, this is for one nice nature. And we're down to 145. So if I add another one, we just double up all the skills again and then do the calculation. It definitely goes negative. And then this model will also simulate the decision for the Uma when they reach final leg. Sometimes they'll decide, depending on what their HP is, to not run the final leg at full speed if they decide they don't have enough HP to do it. So they'll run it at a lower speed. So sometimes it's hard to tell if that's happening. The best way to do it is just look at your top speed. So 22.82. I take some of the HP removal away. You'll see that top speed is higher. So in the other trial, the Uma decided to run at a slower speed because it knows it doesn't have the HP for it. So it's a little deceiving, but this is the way it's being modeled in this is actually correct. They do that in game as well. So it's like it's deceiving, but it's correct to the code of the game. So it's, you know, if you want an accurate model, then you should probably have what the code does in there. I don't calculate that because I just want to see what my stamina is compared to what I need. But yeah, you get the idea that 900 stamina does not survive you to nice natures at all. So the question is, are you gonna run against 2 nice natures or not? It's kind of up to you to decide if you want to worry about something like that. This kind of boils into the next part, which is how, like, what characters do you want to run in what positions and stuff? Because one of the ways to get around Nice Nature is to just run behind her, because all of her skills, Mystifying Murmur and All-Seeing Eye, both target in front of. So Mystifying Murmur hits everything ahead, and All-Seeing Eye hits everything ahead within a certain distance. I think All-Seeing Eye is 20 meters, and I think Mystifying Murmur is actually just anyone. So if you play an end closer, you can almost guaranteed dodge Mystifying Murmur. The All-Seeing Eye is the one that you still might get hit by. This doesn't go off till late race, and especially if you're running like a gold ship. You know how gold ship's unique works. She pops it in the middle of mid phase and then like runs forward, right? Because it gives her speed. So after that, and then you get into late phase, you'll end up out in front of Nice Nature and then just eat the All-Seeing Eyes that goes off in late phase. So this is like really the 3% from All-Seeing Eyes is really hard to avoid. This is almost always going to hit you. The little skills, which I was using earlier, which is here. It's the subdued ones. These just go off in the first phase. And it hits all enemy, you know, insert pace strategy, and then drains 1% of your stamina. So you can't avoid these at all. Assuming they activate, they'll hit you. Can't really do anything about it. All 4 of the subdued skills all come off this Rudolph card. So any Nice Nature that gets enough skill points can learn all 4, and then also learn their 2 gold skills. So if you have me running an end closer or whatever, I wouldn't be too surprised if people building Nice Nature specifically target you for these 1% stamina effects, because they know that they know at least that Mystifying Murmur is going to miss. So that leads into which Umas should we run? All right, let's go look at the characters real quick. I don't want to take too long on this because then my video is going to end up being like 40 minutes long. So we'll just break it down real quick. S is like, these are your characters that you pretty much, if you have them, I think you should run them no matter what if you have them. Nice Nature is your debuffer who's going to just decimate people who don't have enough stamina. And then Marozensky is a front runner who shuts down pace chasers being assigned as pace setter, which is very bad if it's not your pace chaser that gets assigned. And it also stops Udara shenanigans from breaking the race. Of the front runners, Marozensky's unique is the only one that'll activate to give you acceleration on the corner. So you might as well just run Marozensky herself because she'll have a better version of it. So any other front runner doesn't really make sense. You just run Marozensky if you want to front run. People in the A column are designed to outlast or avoid Nice Nature's stamina debuffs. So either they have a lot of extra recovery, or in Gold Ship's case, they're an end closer, so they're just trying to avoid getting hit by it. The only 2 exceptions would be Rudolph and Grass Wonder, are both there as sort of like runner / debuffers, because they have Dominator, which is a nice little velocity debuff that you apply on people. So they'll do that to the enemies as we get into the late race. And if you have one other runner that could potentially win the race, they'll help them win or win themselves. So they're just like solid runners that could potentially get the job done. If you run them as late surgers, there's a good chance, if there's a lot of Nice Natures and they eat the Nice Nature debuffs, that those 2 characters, being Grass Wonder and Rudolph, will run out of stamina and die, because late surgers don't have a lot of options in terms of recovery. All of our earlier discussions were about 2 gold recoveries, but late surgers don't have good options for that. There are ways to get 2 golds, but usually they're unreliable. This also applies for Marozensky, but pace chasers are really the only role that has the ability to like get a bunch of recovery that isn't situationally bad. Gold Ship can get 2 as well because she has 1 built into her kit, so she'll get Swinging Maestro plus her built-in recovery. And anyone below A is fine. They can be run. but there's generally better options. I think Taiki might be the only exception to this. You could run a Taiki. You would just need to do some inheritance shenanigans to get her medium up. But other than that, yeah, I think that's about it. You should probably look to aim to run 3 of the characters in either A or S. I hope this video helped you guys figure out your champions meet situation for your characters. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Adios.